Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for Wednesday, July 4th. Happy Independence Day to my fellow Americans. This is the day we celebrate the Declaration of Independence. That was the watershed event for the American Revolution, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. As we consider our privileges as Americans today, the Judeo-Christian foundation upon which our country was founded, we also provide tolerance and freedom from religion and the pursuit of happiness for individuals while maintaining a state or government that will not overreach its duties in preserving those rights for each person. It is these values that masses of folks from all around the world and every edge of the earth seek to find and immigrate to the United States, either legally or illegally. Some, unfortunately, even have sinister motives to enter our country to undermine this society that we value. So, when SUNY New York, particularly Hunter College, a college in one of the 13 original colonies, funded by taxpayers to provide an education to both in and out-of-state students, when it allows lies to be spread on its campus, it's quite unfortunate. But at least we have the freedom of speech to retort it. And that brings me to an article written by Rebecca Fliegelman, who's a student at Hunter College, part of the SUNY, it's the University of New York system, that was posted on the Camera on Campus Facebook page. She recently attended a Palestinian Solidarity Alliance, PSA, meeting on her campus at Hunter College. She was part of a group of 5 concerned Jewish students with no formal affiliation to any specific organization, but wanted to attend the PSA meeting because it habitually fuels BDS, that is boycott, divest, and sanction activities and notions on their college campus. And they seek not only to demonize Israel, but also Jews in general. They attended the meeting and politely, according to her, voiced their concerns and engaged in discussion and debate, but certainly made no headway. But then, a couple days later, the PSA posted on its Facebook page that their meeting was basically crashed by, quote, militant Zionists who attacked their members. Their post also stated that the Zionists outnumbered and attacked their members, and this is absolutely false, as Rebecca was only one of 5 students. They also stated that the 5 students were bullies, racists, and traumatizers. Then they tried to go and extend these adjectives to all the Jewish people by stating that they were representatives of Hunter Halal, when the truth is they were not with any organization. Among their other twists of the event, the most deceitful part was that they said the president of Hunter Halal targeted a PSA member because of his mental disabilities. This is an absolute falsehood, Rebecca claims, because in reality, the president, Allen's mental disabilities were not obvious to anyone, and in fact, the president of Hunter Halal was not in attendance. He was not one of the 5 Jewish students to attend. If there was any bully at the meeting, Rebecca states, it was the PSA president, Ronnie Allen, who laughed at a distressed girl and moved her to tears as the 5 Jewish students were repeatedly told to leave the meeting when they were expressing their concerns about the BDS actions. Rebecca posted her article on the Camera on Campus Facebook page in a thoughtful tone, expressing a factual account of the meeting and what PSA stands for and their history. She also was shocked that her attendance at the meeting was then used as a propaganda point by the groups in their Facebook posts. This, to me, further illustrates the modus operandi of BDS movements. That is, they take one little thing or event and twist it wholly and completely to meet their needs. And that brings me to my next concern of what's going on in New York. Recently, New York's 14th District had a Democratic primary election. Yay, go America! This is the democratic process, and it's wonderful. But in this one, the longtime incumbent, Joe Crowley, was unseated by a 28-year-old newcomer who's part of the Democratic Socialists of America and part of the Bernie Sanders campaign. And she, of course, was the outsider. And while I understand the frustration of many constituents regarding their incumbent, it is important that we understand who that outsider is. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez won the nomination. But she's not only a socialist, which has its own issues that the Democrat Party can work out itself as they elect their representatives to run on the main ballot. She's also anti-Semitic and in the past has supported BDS activities and noted this in recent speeches. She also noted recently and commented about the, quote, massacre of Israel in Gaza on Israel's Independence Day. Now, this is complete propaganda. And I have seen headlines and people's Facebook posts where they talk about the, quote, massacre of Gazans by Israeli Defense Forces in May, and the fact that Israelis or IDF forces, quote, shot or killed children. And they make these posts and statements with no forensics and no actual facts. While Ocasio-Cortez was referring to these recent protests on the border during Israel's Independence Day week, there were a total of 60 Palestinians who were killed in clashes with the IDF. Now, over 50 of those were identified even by Hamas as Hamas operatives. The one child that was noted to have died during this event had a pre-existing condition and was paid by Hamas to claim that the child died at the hands of the IDF. But then this was defunct, but not too many retractions were posted. So the so-called protests were staged not by a peaceful means in any way, but they were very violent, hence the reaction by the IDF forces. So Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is demonstrating herself to be another mouthpiece for propaganda. And there are two possibilities here. She's either sinister and anti-Semitic and knows she's spreading lies and twisting the truth, or she's actually ignorant of the facts and is willing to profess propaganda as a mere pawn for the BDS movement and other anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic organizations. In either case, this is not the type of person we need representing the Americans in the U.S. Congress, let alone a district in New York where I am sure there's a decent-sized population of Jews. If folks who are running for Congress cannot take the time to study situations and recognize the facts, then they don't belong representing our citizens. Moreover, keep in mind that bipartisan margins in the U.S. Congress, both House and Senate, over the years have proclaimed, declared, and passed laws that BDS is anti-Semitic and is against the law, or portions of their activities are against the law. The 14th Congressional District in New York, you constituents must be aware of who you're voting for. I understand you had frustrations with the incumbent, and that is certainly a problem. But consider exactly which outsider you are seeking to unseat him. You want to be careful who you fill the vacuum with. Now, with grace, the Jewish Democratic Council of America did congratulate Ocasio-Cortez on her victory, but they also pointed out very specifically that they disagree with her on her position of Israel, and they also noted they disagree with the Democratic Socialists of America, of which she is a part, because they have, as well as she, supported BDS movement and activities in the past. New Yorkers, specifically you in the 14th District, please consider carefully who you're sending to represent you. While you have an opportunity on the main ballot to choose a Republican or even an independent candidate, do you want a known BDS supporter who is ill-advised or ignorant on the facts in the Middle East representing you and your tax dollars in the House of Representatives? Think carefully. Happy Independence Day. Please go exercise your rights as a citizen. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.